Okay, we got one more problem here. This one says find AB and BA. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my dimensions here. I know A is a 3, oops, that is way too thick for my pen here, so let's change the thickness, sorry about that. So we got 3 by 2 and a 2 by 2. So A times B, that works. What about B times A? Well, if B is a 2 by 2 and A is a 3 by 2, this one does not work because the inner dimensions don't match. So I cannot do B times A. A times B does work. So AB is equal to 2 times negative 3, 0 times 5, negative 2 times 0, and B is 5 times 0, or excuse me, 5047. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do this one a little bit faster, but I'm still going to go ahead and write the resulting matrix. So it's going to be a 3 by 2. So I'm going to have 3 rows and 2 columns. I like knowing where the pieces are going to go even before I start, and that is just helpful to visualize how to create your answer. Okay, and then I'm going to go through the motions, and I'll try and organize it the same way I have before, and we'll just kind of, I'm going to create a grid. You don't have to, but I'm going to create a grid just so you can follow along, and each grid represents each part of the matrix. And so I'm going to do row 1, column 1 in my resulting matrix. So row 1, column 1. So I'm going to use row 1, column 1. So that's 2 times 5 plus negative 3 times 4, and that's going to equal 10 minus 12, and so that's a negative 2. And I am just going to create another one here because I don't have enough room in the little boxes that I drew. So that's negative 2, right? Row 2, column 1. So I'm going to go ahead and use row 2, column 1. So row 2, column 1. And so I'm going to have 0 times 5 plus 5 times 4, and that's going to equal 20. So that's row 2, column 1. Next is row 3, column 1. So I'm using row 3, column 1. And so that's negative 2 times 5 plus 0 times 4, which is equal to negative 10. So the resulting matrix is negative 10. And so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start my second column. Okay, so this is the second column in the resulting matrix, and so it's row 1, column, so I'm going to work with row 1, column 2, and so I get, that's going to equal 2 times 0 plus negative 3 times 7. That should be a plus there, and that's negative 21. So row 2, column 2. So row 2, column 2. This one's kind of nice because we have 0 times 0 plus 5 times 7, and that's 35. Last but not least, row 3, column 2. So I'm going to go with row 3, column 2, and that gives me row 3, column 2 in my new matrix. So that gives me a negative 2 times 0 plus 0 times 7. And part of this is just organization. What's nice here is we get 0 and 0, so this is my resulting matrix. Okay, so recommendation, go through, watch these videos, make sure some of you do your practice problems. If we're not practicing, we're not going to be able to get good at this stuff. You know what that means. So this is our last example for multiplying matrices with just matrices. We're going to do some more with multiplication and work with these guys. We're going to have some kind of real life problems, just like information in a table and how we can work with it.